Imagine a place buzzing with life, music, and laughter. It's November 28th, 1942. In Boston, the Coconut Grove Nightclub is the place to be. Soldiers on leave, college football fans celebrating a big game, families and sweethearts fill every corner of its sprawling, tropical-themed rooms. The air is thick with anticipation and joy. No one knows that, in just a few minutes, this paradise will become a tomb, and the night will be seared into history as one of America's deadliest fires. How could a single spark in a packed nightclub lead to 492 deaths? The answer is a terrifying chain of events that would change public safety forever. The Coconut Grove was a maze of glamour and danger. Its owner, a lawyer with mob connections named Barney Wilansky, had built an empire on cutting corners. The decor was a fire trap waiting to happen. Flammable satin fabrics draped from the ceilings, fake palm trees made of combustible materials, and cheap leatherette covering the walls. To stop patrons from skipping out on their bills, many of the club's exits were either locked, blocked, or disguised. The main entrance was a single revolving door, a bottleneck that would soon prove fatal. This place wasn't just a nightclub. It was a disaster, meticulously assembled, piece by flammable piece. The fire began in the dark, intimate Melody Lounge in the basement. A young busboy, Stanley Tomaszewski, was sent to replace a light bulb that a guest had unscrewed for a bit more privacy. In the dim light, he struck a match to see the socket. What happened next is debated. Stanley himself swore he extinguished the match before changing the bulb, but a tiny spark, whether from the match or faulty wiring, found its way into the highly flammable decorations. A flicker of orange appeared on a fake palm tree. Patrons barely noticed it at first, some even thinking it was part of the show. But within seconds, the flicker became a flame, and the flame became a hungry monster. It climbed the cloth-draped ceiling with horrifying speed. Panic erupted. People scrambled for the stairs leading up to the main level, but the fire was faster. A fireball, superheated and starved of oxygen, roared up the stairwell and exploded into the main lobby. It spread through the club like a wave of liquid fire, incinerating everything in its path. Those who had been laughing and dancing just moments before were now caught in a desperate stampede for their lives. The festive music was replaced by screams of terror and the deafening roar of the inferno. The main exit, that single revolving door, became a wall of butt. As terrified people pushed from behind, the door jammed, trapping dozens inside and blocking the only clear way out. Other doors were locked from the outside. Some swung inward, rendered useless against the crush of the crowd pushing against them. People clawed at boarded-up windows and hidden exits, only to find no escape. One side door was forced open, but it created a sudden influx of fresh air that fed the fire, turning a hallway into a blowtorch that incinerated those who had almost made it to safety. The entire nightclub, once a symbol of Boston nightlife, was fully engulfed in less than 10 minutes. Amidst the chaos, there were stories of both tragedy and incredible survival. A young Coast Guardsman, seeing the jammed revolving door, smashed out the glass panels on either side, creating an opening that allowed a few to crawl to safety. A bartender in the Melody Lounge led a small group of staff and patrons through the kitchen, through thick smoke and darkness, into a back alley. They were among the very few who escaped the basement. Movie star Buck Jones, a famous cowboy hero, was there celebrating with his Hollywood entourage. He was initially pulled to safety, but reportedly went back into the flames to try and save others. He was found hours later, alive, but with horrific burns, and died in the hospital 2 days later. He was one of 492 victims. For every survivor, there were hundreds who didn't make it. Firefighters arrived to a scene of absolute horror. They found bodies piled 6 feet high behind the jammed revolving door and blocked exits. In the wake of the fire, a devastated city demanded answers. The investigation revealed a shocking list of safety failures. The club was licensed for 460 people, but on that night, over 1,000 were packed inside. The flammable decorations, the blocked exits, the non-existent sprinkler system, it was a textbook case of negligence. The owner, Barney Wilansky, was convicted of involuntary manslaughter and sentenced to prison, though he was pardoned just months before dying of cancer. The 16-year-old busboy, Stanley, was cleared of wrongdoing but lived with the weight of that night for the rest of his life, forever known as the boy who started the fire. But from this immense tragedy came a legacy of profound change. The Coconut Grove fire became a turning point in the history of fire safety. Across the United States and around the world, building codes were completely revolving doors were required to have regular hinge doors on either side. All public buildings had to have clearly marked, unlocked exit doors that swung outward. The use of flammable materials and decorations was strictly banned. Automatic sprinklers and fire alarm systems became standard. The field of grief counseling and burn treatment also saw major advancements, as doctors at Massachusetts General Hospital developed pioneering techniques to save the severely burned. The hundreds of lives lost that night were not in vain. Their sacrifice built the foundation for the safety regulations that protect us all today. Every time you walk into a theater, a restaurant, or a nightclub and see a glowing green exit sign, a sprinkler head in the ceiling, or a push bar on an emergency door, you are seeing the legacy of the Coconut Grove. It's a somber reminder that safety standards are often written in the ashes of tragedy. The laughter and music of that November night have long since faded, replaced by a silence that echoes through history. But the memory of the 492 souls lost in the fire serves as a permanent, powerful lesson that we must never, ever forget the cost of carelessness. Thank you for watching. If you found this story important, please like this video and subscribe for more historical deep dives. Stay safe.